National Front, the Front National, and the BNP, who's been fighting this for years?
When you talk about fighting it for years, those groups differ in many ways, because those are just Nazis, backward.
Have they not been fighting Islamification?
They fight anything that's not white. So they don't. We are sole purpose that tackle Islam. They tackle and they have hatred for anything that's not white.
It's not white. Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Okay. Now, I've got to ask you a couple tough questions here in order to be fair. Okay. Funding. How do you receive your funding?
We have no funding.
You have no funding. There's no funding.
We have done everything we've done over 3.5 years on £40,000, probably $50,000 that we've made through selling T-shirts.
And that's over a 3-year period?
Over a 3-year period.
That is basically no funding.
That's no funding, man. Trust me, that's no funding. We've skinned ourselves from it. Our members pay for. We pay for everything ourselves. And if you look at what we've done and where we've come in 3 years, if we had funding, we'd finish Islam in Britain.
Now, I got another question for you. I noticed you're wearing a shirt or a button that says "I'm a Zionist." What does a Zionist mean to you? What is a Zionist?
Well, a Zionist is someone who believes in a homeland for Jewish people. I believe.
My definition, when I've looked at that in the dictionary, is Israel first.
It means Israel first.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I believe in Israel's right to exist. I believe in their right to defend themselves. I believe that the Jews have been persecuted. And when I look at the Israeli thing, I look at it from my own point of view, growing up in Luton Town. The main extremist is, you know, the Stockholm bomb. Shalom. And you know the Zionists. They keep funding me. It's all the Zionists. That's all.
An English culture activist is reportedly jailed in the UK after reporting on a trial involving a Muslim grooming gang. OAN political correspondent Neil W. McCabe has that report.
Yes, that's right. The U.S. and England are two countries with very similar traditions. But this situation raises questions about whether England is throwing those traditions away. English culture activist Tommy Robinson was arrested. He's a co-founder of the English Defence League, and he was arrested May 25th outside the Leeds Crown Court. Robinson was charged with breaching the peace and incitement roughly 1 hour into his Facebook live streaming outside the trial of members of a Muslim gang accused of grooming children.
I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. Are you arresting him? Being arrested for breach of the peace. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. Can you get me a solicitor? Can you get me a solicitor?
Can you just turn off your live feed?
Can you get me a solicitor?
Just turn off your live feed, please.
Yeah. Do you understand what I just said?
Now, I got another question for you. I noticed you're wearing a shirt or a button that says "I'm a Zionist." What does a Zionist mean to you? What is a Zionist?
Well, a Zionist is someone who believes in a homeland for Jewish people. I believe.
My definition, when I've looked at that in the dictionary, is Israel first.
It means Israel first.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I believe in Israel's right to exist. I believe in their right to defend themselves. I believe that the Jews have been persecuted. And when
let's talk about fake news. Let's talk about Tommy Robinson, a self-proclaimed Zionist, supporter of Israel, another one of these guys that has been dumped on us by what is known as the alt-right. Now, I've been warning everybody about the alt-right from the beginning. From plants all over the place, from InfoWars to Mike Cernovich to Milo. These guys that they're rolling out to represent us, supposedly. And there's way too many people in this movement that buy into these alt-right characters. These people are here to give you a taste of real truth and lead you astray and keep you trapped in the left-right paradigm and believing in Donald Trump and draining the swamp and all of this crap, okay? As everything continues to go on, all of this stuff that I talk about and others talk about is going to be revealed, specifically the stuff involving pedophilia. That's why they are scrambling to normalize making children, wearing bikinis and being in fashion shows and being on television shows, being the smarter character than the parents, the stuff I constantly am telling you about. There's a reason for it. But you're going to get tons of disinformation from the right. And that's why guys like this have been planted here. They're going to use the child trafficking rings to play on your emotions because they know especially when they, channels like mine, who I constantly am talking about this and exposing it, but I'm exposing the occult. I'm exposing that, this isn't about a couple of perverts or, trafficking kids around, and then the kids are being shopped around, and then they're doing, child labor. This is about Satanism. This is about the rituals and satanic ritual abuse that these kids are put through, which involves rape, massive amounts of pedophilia, snuff porn, and eventually the murdering of these kids and cannibalism. This is the stuff that they won't let get out there. That's why stuff like this with guys like Tommy Robinson is them floating you a little feather so that you can go, oh, he's going to try to stop this stuff. Oh, they're trying to censor him, when he didn't even do anything he wasn't helping expose anything. He's still playing you in this whole Israel Muslim nonsense garbage, okay? Now take a look at this guy. Like I said, openly admitting to being a Zionist. And you can see he has many different names. Stephen Lennon is his real name. But he also has 3 other stage names, including Tommy Robinson, Andrew McMaster, and Paul Harris. And then look who's spinning the narrative out there. Fox News, InfoWars, right? Because InfoWars is now pretty much, Fox News is now pretty much playing the role in the mainstream media of InfoWars. It's almost like they're buddying up. And you can see, oh, look at all this stuff. Alex Jones interviewing his character. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness, what's going on over there? Oh, the censorship. Oh, the pedophilia. Yeah, this stuff does exist, but they're leading you astray. And it's important to realize that, Tommy Robinson, another guy who worked for Rebel Media, another guy you could see openly throwing up the 666 and throwing up these symbols which show who they're, aligned with, but you shouldn't need to see anymore other than to hear it from his own mouth about how he's a supporter of Israel. Right? There's your common theme with the alt-right. They all are supporters, and then they want to trick Christians out there who are babes in Christianity, or ones who are too blinded by their own zeal to realize that Israel has been hijacked. It is owned and controlled by the Rothschilds. Period. End of story. Do your research on it. And it's scary. We talk about, and I say I'm talking about you guys, the listeners, myself, when we interact, whether it's in the comment section or live streams that I do, we talk about, oh man, shills, who's a shill, who's a this, who's a that. People who push disinformation are technically what a shill is, right? People who are pushing mainstream narrative and then presenting themselves as truthers. That's what should be, people need to be warned about stuff like that. Not about, oh, this guy has an attitude problem, or, this guy has ads in his video. How about disinformation? This whole movement is supposed to be about truth, not disinformation. And this is the same thing I've been warning about, and people are going, oh, you're just looking to pick a fight. You get guys like Richie from Boston who do no research, who have no idea what they're talking about. They're just looking to throw stuff up so that they can have a daily video out there and get their ad revenue. Free Tommy Robinson, hashtag free Tommy Robinson, you could be next. Look at this garbage, right? Richie doesn't have a clue, or does he? Is he giving you the disinformation on purpose, or is he really that slow? You could decide for yourself. But this is putting out disinformation in a community that's supposed to be watching out for one another, looking for fake news being presented as real news. And that's exactly what this story is. It's a honey trap. Nothing more than a honey trap. Okay, this is the second time in 3 weeks that Richie's been caught throwing out made up stories like chemlung, like it's a new disease. Now, of course I believe in chemtrails. Of course I believe we get sick from the chemtrail, but you can't put out information that fits your narrative to make you look like some type of hero if it's not real. That'd be like me doing a video saying I went and I busted a satanic pedo ring up my road, but I have no evidence to show it. But I'm just telling you. And then I'm asking, begging people for this or that and trying to make myself look like a hero in a community. This community is about real news, real facts, and calling out fake news and disinformation. And when you get people like this, like Richie from Boston, where you go, do they even research any of this stuff, or are they just following the mainstream narrative? You can decide for yourself based on the intellect level, which is not hard to see, or you could say, well, are they just playing the role of Mr. Blue Collar, Mr. Everyday Man, and then putting out and pushing this Alex Jones disinfo crap about Tommy Robinson, an admitted Zionist? You think that they're going to arrest this guy and he's going to go to jail? This guy, like he's really imprisoned, and this isn't part of a narrative and a story that they're going to present? about, oh, Muslims and, oh, the real pedophile. Oh, yeah, the rings that they have, and he's exposing it, right? How about the rings that the Zionists have? Don't hear any of that. Don't hear him talking about the Talmud, right? So think about that and how the narrative is flipped the other way. What'll come out of this story? Oh, man, he was really trying to break the stuff with these Muslim gangs and the trafficking that's going on there, right? And, trafficking Israeli children and things like that probably would be what comes out. Always protecting Israel, right? Always protecting the bagels. Not talking about the Talmud and talking about how they openly promote the molestation of children, you know? And then you just look at the comments and stuff. People are, thank you, Richie. You're buying into mainstream narrative. The only reason I'm covering this is because yesterday a couple people wrote on my wall, can you comment on Tommy Robinson? And I don't comment on this stuff unless I see it getting pushed by people who are really shilling or really stupid. Because it's a problem, right? That's why I don't comment on Q. Can you comment on Q? Can you tell us about Q? He's working with Donald Trump. Oh, really? We're really going to buy it? I mean, it's just amazing to me how, Q is here to, he's going to help everyone out. They aren't throwing breadcrumbs and things like that to keep people trapped and believing that Q and they're going to drain the swamp and the left-right crap. And they can't find out who Q is. He'd have 20 bullets in the back of his head, okay? They could track and find anybody. If you think he's blocking it with a VPN or some server docs or whatever he's got to block himself and protect himself, he'd be dead. He'd be killed. This is 2018. In the 60s and the 50s, they were putting bullets in the back of people's heads just for talking about this kind of stuff, let alone being pushed in the mainstream by, Jones and all these other people out there talk about it. It's a joke. So I don't cover it. It's a BS trap. It's a honey trap. Q is a trap. Tommy Robinson is a trap. Anything designed from the alt-right is a trap to keep you trapped. And who doesn't get discussed in this stuff, right? Israel doesn't get discussed. None of these people discuss it. Why do you think that is? Because they're working for them. And then when they talk about these rings, they don't talk about the occult behind it. They don't talk about Crawley. They don't talk about SRA and victims of SRA. You don't see victims of SRA going on Alex Jones's InfoWars show talking about what they do and what they go through and how they're targeted individuals. You never hear that stuff. This is just more fake news narrative. And I'm warning you to watch who you follow. I don't care if you're offended and you're like, stop taking shots at Richie. Stop putting out fake news. The guy puts out a video on Chemlong and then quietly takes it down because he knows he's wrong. No video saying, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. So for those of you that didn't notice, I deleted the video. Here's me, doing a statement saying that I put out disinformation. I apologize. No, because we have prideful clowns in this community that don't take responsibility for the stuff they throw out there. They throw it out there. They don't research anything. Richie spent more time researching his tires than he's ever done researching any of this stuff. He sees it in the news and he spits it out. That's a problem because people are getting led astray. I don't want people trapped in the left-right paradigm. I don't want people trapped and believing, and not understanding or realizing what's going on with Israel and the synagogue of Satan. But this is how you get kept in these traps, by following people out there that don't know what they're talking about. I don't need to do this to take a shot and say, it's the bigger channel. I have the bigger channel. I have 2 channels with 200,000 subs, okay? And I have another with 50. I don't need to prove anything about, this is an alpha male battle. No, it's not. It's a problem when people put out fake information. And it's a problem when they don't retract the statements that they make and do videos publicly apologizing, saying that they're wrong, and that next time they'll do better research instead they go, I was in the car, I shouldn't have put it up. Really? You think? You think so? You think you should back check stuff before you put it out? And this is the same thing again, right? Watch this video disappear with no statement about Tommy Robinson. Yeah, Tommy Robinson, supporter of Israel. He's probably on an island right now, taking a nice 10-day vacation. And then in 10 days, they're going to free Tommy Robinson. And look what the alt-right got Tommy Robinson out. Because they were going to expose these Muslim terrorist groups that are also grooming children for trafficking. Meanwhile, children are being groomed for trafficking. Not groomed, they're being trafficked on a daily basis. They're going missing on a daily basis, right? And it's not Muslim gangs that are responsible. It's this massive satanic cult. Whether the people are Muslim or Russian or American or British, they're Satanists. They're soulless. And they prey on children. So don't fall for fake news. All right. I see this stuff. I get riled up because I stay away from talking about these things because I know a lot of you don't pay attention to it because you know it's fake news. But I know a lot of you are aware of it because, you'll watch a lot of different channels and see stuff. And that's good. That's what you should do. Take things from here, take things from there. I'm not right about everything, but find something and tell me that I put out complete disinformation supporting something like the alt-right without doing research behind it. You get these guys just throwing this stuff out there, not realizing the consequences and how they keep people in a trap into believing this stuff. These are honey traps. Don't fall for it. These aren't attacks on channels. This is just the truth. This is just a problem. It's a real problem. When this movement is supposed to be about getting truth out, and then people don't research what they're even saying, and they just throw it out there. Oh my gosh, Tommy Robinson, a.k.a., Stephen Lennon, a.k.a., Andrew McMaster, a.k.a. Paul Harris. I mean, that's not suspicious enough, having 4 freaking names, let alone the fact that this guy is a regular on InfoWars, was involved in rebel media, which has been exposed many times. Jeff C's exposed it many times. These alt-right networks are dangerous. And for people to claim that they're not part of it and then to support it either shows that they're really, really dumb, which is definitely true if you've seen this person talk before, or that they're shilling for them. And their plants in here. So watch what you listen to, research stuff back, fact check things, especially if you have questions about stuff. But don't fall for this crap, this, mainstream story now. Right-wing activist Tommy Robinson reportedly jailed after filming outside child grooming trial. He's laughing as he's getting arrested, for crying out loud. Everybody's got smiles on their face. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be in jail for years on end for filming. 13 months, was that what they're saying? Shortly after his arrest, a source with knowledge of the case told Fox News he'd been jailed for 13 months. Oh, I guess he's taking a nice 13-month vacation, courtesy of Israel, on our tax dollar. That's probably what's really happening. I thank you for listening to today's show. Watch out for fake news and watch out for channels that don't have a clue about what they're talking about.